Listen, please. African. Okay? That's you. What do you remember what you were?
We're at St. Andrew's United Methodist Church in the Montclair neighborhood, located off South Boulevard and Archdale Drive in Mecklenburg County's District 5. Hearing instructor Deborah Chandler lead a group of elementary school students in an African choir song. The children are participating in a program called Project Harmony, an after-school youth music program organized by Charlotte Symphony in partnership with Arts Plus. This summer marks the third year of the program.
And Project Harmony is made up of 2nd through 5th graders who have come from several schools in the area. We're meeting here at a church that's easy for all of them to get to, and they come at 4 o'clock. They come early in the day and do homework and have snack, and then I meet with them from 4 till 6. We do not have a high absentee rate with Project Harmony. The kids come every day that they're able to come. We allow the children to have the instruments free of charge because of Project Harmony and the funding that we get. So that right there is an obstacle for many children not to be able to afford it. So then parents start to see what this does for their child, and then they start looking around for instruments.
That kind of access, made possible through public funding to the Arts and Science Council's Culture Blocks program, empowers children, according to Project Harmony coordinator Margaret Maurice.
Being able to provide not only these students but families with this new tool, music, is giving them a superpower. I always felt growing up, and I was able to participate in free programming in the town that I grew up in, that could be my superpower. And no matter what I had, if I had the newest jeans or backpack, which I didn't, but I had this superpower inside of me, which was to be able to sing and play the piano and participate in an ensemble and play percussion. And here we're offering that chance to have that same superpower inside.
Maurice says that in addition to all the cognitive benefits of learning, the social support and encouragement the kids receive can be life-changing. She knows because she was once that student as well.
When I think about, for myself, my music teacher, someone that took a real interest in me, and despite my parents not being able to pay on time sometimes, or my parents not picking me up on time and her providing me dinner, she never made me feel like any of that was my fault. She looked at me as a person and as someone with potential. Which is one of the core reasons why I, as a music teacher and a musician and someone that is interested in outreach in this way, is very motivated to look into the eyes of a child and to have a staff, all of our site coordinators, look into the eyes of each one of our students and let them know they are very, very happy to see them today. And they are needed here. They are needed in this ensemble. That their peers need them, that we need them, and they have an important role to play. And we believe that they are destined for greatness.
Not far away at Amity Presbyterian Church in the Winterfield neighborhood located in East Charlotte and in Mecklenburg County's District 4, Project Harmony instructor Mark Sanders prepares a small group of students for the day's practice.
Right now they're in the room rehearsing without me. One of the things that I preach is integrity, doing the right thing without being watched, even though nobody's watching. And right now they are practicing a piece called All Aboard right now. All right, listen to that. Hey.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So let's do. Let's do name those tunes really fast.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you, it can be life-changing for a lot of these students. For me, when I put the instrument in the kids' hands, for them, I want it to be life-changing for them. And I've seen the excitement in their eyes, the dedication of the kids and their parents when they come to see performances, when they're preparing for performances for them. They just light up, and they're so excited about just playing music. It's less about the instrument itself and more about the family and the community that we build, not just, out in Charlotte, but just in our little classroom settings. The kids are really close. They love being around each other. They feed off each other's energy, and they just love it.
The lesson that Mr. Sanders' students learn go far beyond music, however.
One of the biggest things is learning how to work together in a group with a lot of people with different opinions, different backgrounds, and we all have to come together and for a common goal, and that's to make music. And this program, we have a lot of kids from different schools. Now we have a lot of kids from different schools that don't know each other. Initially, it was a little bit tough for those kids, but the music is what brought them together, and the camaraderie in that setting is they just love being around each other.
Those experiences and the life lessons the students learn are made possible through public funding for the Arts and Science Council's Culture Blocks program. Program coordinator Margaret Maurice talks about why financial support from the community is so important and invites anyone skeptical about supporting that funding to see their dollars in action.
Having programs like this in the neighborhoods accessible and right where they go to school, work, live, and play is essential for families to gain some of that cultural capital and to know that this can be part of their toolbox, that they can feel proud, that they can use this wherever they go. So it's absolutely essential that we have this in the communities. I would ask them to please attend anything that the city is offering, from culture blocks that we have all across the city at the libraries. There's been art workshops, there's been live musicians playing. There is such rich programming in this city. Come one time, even just darken the door and see from a distance of what beautiful things are happening, and then ask yourself, did I enjoy this? Do I believe that other people should have this? Do I feel joy in my heart? And most times, it's a resounding yes, we deserve it.
Hi, I'm Mary C. Curtis. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this series of podcasts. Our goal is to inform and educate Mecklenburg County voters on the proposed quarter-cent sales tax to stabilize and transform the arts and cultural community and ensure cultural equity. You'll have a chance to make your voice heard November 5th, and listening to this podcast is one of the best ways you can make sure you're prepared. First, if you are unfamiliar with the proposed sales tax, please tune into the first podcast in this series before listening to this one. It will give you a complete overview of the tax and much more context to what we are going to talk about today. In the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Cultural Vision Plan, residents articulated how they wanted the cultural sector to serve them as it relates to education. They said, make arts, science, and history central to K-12 education, ensuring that Charlotte-Mecklenburg students are critical and creative thinkers. We envision a future where every student will have an education in which innovation and creativity are central, and where arts, science, and history education will positively influence and boost graduation rates. The strength of the cultural sector will help ensure that Charlotte-Mecklenburg students successfully compete locally, nationally, and internationally. We imagine Charlotte-Mecklenburg growing even more attractive for business locations because of its access to excellent K-12 education opportunities. And we see continually increasing levels of synergy and cooperation between the arts and cultural sector and the education community. In this episode, we'll visit Troy Kryzalka, better known as the Number Drummer, as he teaches math to 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders through music. We'll also check in on Kate Shaner, Education and Programs Manager at Carolina Raptor Center. Finally, you'll hear young minds at work as they experience one of DigiBridge's STEAM Saturdays. First, let's hear from Dr. Barbara Ann Temple, Vice President of Education for the Arts and Science Council.
There is an abundance of research out there, both quantitatively and qualitatively, as we've talked about earlier. It talks about the benefits of the arts and cultural experiences on human beings, and where both the exposure to the arts and immersion in the arts can make a difference in a student's trajectory, from how engaged a student becomes in school, extracurricular activities, to where I really think it's important as community service. I think we stand a greater chance to have our students and families engage with their communities when their voices are heard. And they have voices already, but the arts empower them, and the arts can inspire them, and the art can elevate the volume of their voice and the meaning behind that. But when you get to the narrative, like the actual people, like the difference it's making in the lives of people, that to me that's where the money is. And I think about the number drummer as an example, who is going out to a lot of schools, and to be in a gymnasium full of, 200, 300, 400 mixed age, third, fourth, and fifth graders, who are learning multiplication and division by the beating of a drum, and like every single child and every teacher aide, every administrator, anyone who's in that gymnasium is actually having a pair of drumsticks, and they are all beating to the drum, the mathematical drum. Okay, how are you going to quantify that? How many kids were there? Okay, yeah, but how many of those students are going to, for the rest of their lives, they're going to remember the beat of things, and it's going to help them in multiplication and division, and you ask, so what? Well, they're going to need to know that when they go to the grocery store, they're paying taxes, and make sure that they're not getting overcharged or taken advantage of, So telling the stories and hearing from kids and seeing what difference it's making in their lives, that's what matters most.
1, 2, 3. You're ready? Sticks on your shoulders, eyes up here.
We here at University Park are an arts magnet school, and so programs like the Number Drummer are really important for our school, so that they are able to experience learning in a different way than other than just the normal classroom experience. So rather than the sit and get, they participate and they are hands-on learning at all times. So that's been really important for our school. And just in general, if we weren't an arts magnet school, I would want that experience for every child.
We're in Mecklenburg County's District 2, speaking to University Park teacher Crystal Briley.
So the Arts and Science Council funding is really important for us as a Title I school. We don't really get a whole lot of other funding besides the Title I, so to provide assemblies and things like this that Number Drummer has done today, we wouldn't get that otherwise. And so I would say as a school, we find that it's very impactful because I can take my classroom and put it on the stage in a bigger way for the whole school. Like I might have like 1 or 2 groups of kids that get to experience bucket drumming. Now the entire school would have had that experience.
5, 6, 7. But the cool part about the drums is it's a relationship between all these pieces. Math is all about a relationship.
As you might have guessed by now, Number Drummer is an interactive arts education program aimed at helping 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders prepare for their end of grade or EOG testing. Founder and instructor Troy Kryzalka, the guy you hear in the background, accomplishes this by using music, specifically drumming, to illustrate the foundations of math.
So the EOG program that Number Drummer provides is based on North Carolina state standards, and the students have been learning that all year long. And so he has provided a engaging, hands-on program about fractions, ratios, graphs, charts, all the things that they will see on the test in a week. So the things that they are learning all year long, he is reviewing with them. Now, we do have a differentiated learning group in that assembly. So we have 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade in there. So he's differentiating that learning as well. So he is basically just reviewing that with our kids to get them pepped up and excited about that test, which can be a really daunting task for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders.
7. What's 4 times 8, 3rd grade? 32. I want you to play your line 4 times in a row. Ready?
Without your funding, his performance here at the school would be totally impossible. As a Title I school, we do not have the funds, and our children, they deserve number drummer and such performances. But your funds have allowed us to go to the Beckler Museum, to Storytellers, Charlotte Symphony, Opera Carolina. Just without you, it would not be possible.
Located in Mecklenburg County District 5, Pinewood Elementary teacher Eileen Sigmund talks about the importance of funding from the Arts and Science Council.
Several of my students have gone on to middle school and high school, gotten into middle school band and orchestra, and I even have had 2 children that have majored in music, so I've been very proud of that. A few weeks ago, I took my 5th graders to Charlotte Symphony, and we actually played on stage with the symphony, but we also got to have a backstage tour. And without your funding, that backstage tour would not have been possible. That backstage tour opened up a lot of opportunities for discussions on, hey, what can I do in middle school now, and different music careers.
When you talk about the partnership with the Arts and Science Council, I would say there are some invaluable experiences, much like the ones my scholars had a chance to participate in today, to come into the room and see K-5 students all with drumsticks and ready to engage in a lesson and just have a common experience. We have been able to bring the arts into the school, but we've also been able to put children on a bus and let them go experience a performance. We have just had special partnerships where we've had artists come in and visit classrooms and just do a deep dive with different things. That would not have been possible without this partnership.
University Park Principal Dr. Regina Boyd.
So when you think about a creative and a critical thinker, it is involving all parts of the brain, right? And then that involves spatial representation. It involves visual representation. So if you think of just simple art and line and shape and form, or if you think of dance when they're dancing and they're moving their body and action and maximizing space and energy, or if you think of when they're in drama and they're really working on their voice and projection and imagination and just concentration. So all of those things help scholars interpret story, deliver a message through the arts. Music, you talk about rhythm and beat and time and management and just lots of math and things going all into that. So it's really well blended. And what I see for my scholars here is that when they have students that may struggle with pen and paper math, but if they're able to get it into a rhythm or feel the beat of it or just talk a story out, then when they go back to the abstract thinking way into the normal classroom with paper and pencil, then they can express themselves a lot better.
Dr. Boyd knows that the loss of public funding would have the potential to cause the school to heavily adjust its programming.
So you using your word adjust, I don't know right now if we would be able to adjust. We would be without. And that really makes me pause for a little bit to say, how would I replace that rich experience for our scholars? I don't think I could without asking parents or trying to go out and fundraise or do something else and we don't have that capacity at this time to send every grade level to have that rich experience to do that here at our school. So we would definitely miss out on some opportunities for our scholars to experience things that are right here at their fingertips. I mean, downtown Charlotte is it's close by. So I think that would be a great loss, and I don't know how I would replace it. We could do something different, but I don't know how I would replace it.
Honestly, you guys have to know something. Your Arts and Science Council in the city of Charlotte, in this area, is the reason why I get to come here and do this. So this is awesome. So you guys celebrate with me. Give yourselves a hand. Yeah.
After the class, we caught up with Troy Kryzalka to talk about the experiences Number Drummer provides.
Well, Number Drummer really encompasses the world of math and music all, together. It's that correlation and connection between both of them, and it demonstrates how, math is embedded in music and how valuable the arts are and how valuable music is. And it's not like it's fabricated or inserted. It's literally alive and well. It's illustrated right within it.
Troy talks about how Number Drummer and other programming aligned to the curriculum can develop critical thinkers.
So if that is their interest, their passion, that they know that core content that they're learning can also be applied to the arts. And that's why STEAM is so important right now. It's not just an acronym, it's something that demonstrates the value of the arts. And the other thing too, and I want to add, is the value of being focused. And you probably heard during the performance, I said that a lot, is that no matter if it's sports or whether it's driving a car or if it's math or reading or music, the value of being focused and attentive demonstrates that desire to be great at something. So they might not be a musician in here, they might not be interested in music, but they might, if they walk away going, gee, I'm going to apply this understanding of being focused to when I play basketball or when I play football or dance or whatever else it might be. So
go downtown and see some of the things that are here at our fingertips. If you have children or grandchildren, take them to a play, a show, or a symphony in the park or something that exposes them, and just watch how the children respond to what you're exposing them to. And just imagine if we did that on a consistent daily basis, how we could transform their learning, fire up some more neurons in their brain so that they're able to receive the academic content and then be successful in the future.
Awesome, well done. Good luck on your new
All right. So does anyone have a guess as to what kind of raptor this one is? Just by looking at it. Is any way you could tell?
A falcon?
It's not a falcon. That's a very good guess.
Owl?
It's not an owl. It's another good guess.
Hawk?
It is a hawk, yes. So this type of hawk, so we have two really common types of hawks here
At the
in North
Carolina
Carolina.
Raptor Center, located in Mecklenburg County's District 1, Education and Programs Manager Kate Shaner shows off some of the raptors that are housed on site in this dual education and avian hospital center. A group of eager first graders from Beverly Woods Elementary soak in every moment, captivated by the exotic birds Kate shows them.
Okay, so we've had lots of comments about falcons and peregrine falcons. Now, this isn't peregrine.
The class's teacher, Ruth Seymour, says that hands-on experiences like these are invaluable to her students.
It's just amazing when they get to actually see things in the real environment, because we talk about it and educate and watch videos when we're in the classroom, but when they get here, they are so excited and they learn also like different aspects. Like there was a story today where she talked about not littering and how that affects, where that gathers the animals to the side of the road and can affect the raptors. And like in the classroom, I would have never known that story to tell. So things like that happen that go beyond classroom learning.
After the class was over, we talked to Kate about the value science education holds for young minds.
To me, we're getting these kids out of the classroom. Sometimes we do go into the classroom, but we are really bringing science. We're making it fun, and we're giving them tangible science. Again, they can read all this stuff in a book, but being able to see it and get their hands on it, when they leave a program, they get to touch the wings and they get to touch the talons and they get to, engage all of their senses here. And so to me, that's really, really important because, again, this is the future of our world. And so, we're going to be leaving our world in their hands. And so we have to make sure that they know how to take care of it.
Echoing Ms. Seymour, Kate says that hands-on experiences like these are irreplaceable.
having these programs and doing these programs for kids, it gets them thinking. It gets them thinking outside the box. Again, they can read all of this stuff in a book, or they can watch Wild Kratts on TV and they can see this stuff. But when they are presented with an owl right in front of them, 6 inches in front of their face, they can see the eyes, they can see the details on the feathers, and that gets them thinking, and that gets them thinking outside the box. It is amazing the questions that I get from students.
Toes and big giant feet. And what they do is they take one of their big giant feet, they ball it up into a fist, and they punch the other bird in the back of the head.
Thanks to public funding to the Arts and Science Council's Culture Blocks program, Carolina Raptor Center is able to provide programming in some of the areas in Mecklenburg County that need it the most. But that doesn't solve all problems, however.
You know, we're a nonprofit, so the schools and the groups that reach out to us are those that can afford us, which really limits access. Unfortunately, because we are a nonprofit and we are sustaining a wildlife hospital, you know, the birds that come into our hospital don't have health insurance. So the programs that we do, the money that we generate through these programs is paying to keep our hospital going.
For those who are hesitant about supporting more public funding for the Carolina Raptor Center, Kate invites them to come to the center and observe the programs.
You know, access and this money would allow us to go into the communities that wouldn't otherwise be able to have us. So it means a lot. It really does. And we use that money wisely. You know, we really pinpoint, and Arts and Science Council does a really good job of finding these areas that need us. And so it's a really, really, really important thing.
If more funding was available for the Carolina Raptor Center, they would be able to provide more programming in neighborhoods across Mecklenburg County, inspiring more of our future scientists.
For one, I would tell them to come out and visit, because the experience is what's going to inspire you. I would tell them about how little things like access blossoms. That is why access is so important, is because, you know, we have little scientists out there that maybe don't know that they're little scientists because they don't have that ability. So that's what we want to do, is we want to be able to go out and talk to all of these people, and to everyone, not just the people that can afford it, to everyone.
Put him on a scale. How many pounds do you think it would say?
3.
Over here. 8 pounds? Okay. 6 pounds? 5 pounds? Okay, he weighs 1 pound.
What?
That's it.
I knew it.
1 pound. Remember, birds are built to be light.
So it looks like we usually attach our vehicles to make better ones. So, all right, watch.
This morning, you're hearing STEAM Saturdays.
DigiBridge founder David Jessup.
We are at our South Park location. We have 9 locations running throughout the region today. And these are opportunities for kindergarten through 8th grade students to come explore their innate curiosities under the direction of a certified teacher with hardware and software needed in order to build and program a robot or one of 300 different projects that we have in our repository.
The room we are in is an average-sized classroom and located in Mecklenburg County's District 5. Today, it's set up with 4 wide tables laid out with trays of what look like Lego pieces at first glance. Take a step closer, however, you'll see there's much more to it. These are tiny engines, motorized wheels, and lights, all hooked up to Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connected laptops controlling them. A table with snacks and drinks sits off to the side, appearing quite lonely, however, because all the attention is on the projects at hand.
To make it like a little more speed, it has a
We talked to two young boys, both around 8 to 10 years
to
old.
make it like a little more speed. It has a
So when we talk about the digital divide at DigiBridge, we're looking specifically at the education component. Some kids have access to the educational experiences they need during the school day in order to pursue careers in STEM and STEAM, and others don't. Often it's talked about as a three-legged stool. You know, the education is one leg, the internet or connectivity as another, and then the hardware, the laptop or computer as the third. We are focused, laser-like focused on the access to education.
This is my code.
Okay. So you program this too.
I press the start button and just and say I want to stop.
I think STEAM Saturday impacts students' lives because they're able to feel confident about their ideas.
DigiBridge facilitator Tatiana Blanchard.
So some of them are able to freely build, so know that it's okay to use your imagination and seeing what your imagination can do and where it could potentially take you. So giving them those opportunities to use something that we don't get to use every day when they're in school.
So let's stop it. I'll stop it. Let's show them how it moves.
David envisions a future where DigiBridge experiences are a regular part of school curriculums around the county.
Yeah, so the long game is policy change to ensure that all kids have access to this type of teaching and learning during the academic day. And so we're really intentional about how we engage with the educators who are working for us, who are a part of our mission, because we believe that they're going to be the champions in their schools once policy is written in such a way that there's some autonomy for teachers to allow their kids to build robots or to code websites or develop apps. And so we invest a lot of resource. We compensate all of our teachers, who we call facilitators, during their time with us and provide various professional development opportunities, both formally and informally, for them to partake in with their peers.
Without some of the funding that DigiBridge receives from both private and public sources, they wouldn't be able to provide these hands-on experiences.
We just wouldn't provide the service, unfortunately. You know, we've seen this in economic downtimes. We have created a business model that will allow us to, in a recession-type era, would allow us to basically keep the lights on and do a little bit of policy work. As far as our programming within our schools and much of the programming even at our fee-for-service sites, it could not be possible. It is not possible without the private sector funding and support from organizations throughout the community.
If the designated revenue stream were to go into effect, David says it would not only help solidify the work they are already doing, but enhance it as well.
I am hopeful that the tax will transform the sector, but I think at this point right now what we're really trying to do is fill some real gaps that are starting to occur as the landscape in Charlotte has changed and as giving strategies, giving patterns have changed. We've seen, a decline in a number of spaces in the dollars available for arts, culture, science, let's just say STEAM education. And so, this sales tax really does feel like something we need in order to maintain the great work that's happening and hopefully also expand upon the work.
This is actually kind of what we built last time. I built the exact same base.
Okay.
And the kid with the drill put his drill on top.
Okay.
So it hid the wheels.
Oh, okay.
So you couldn't really see those unless you went like this.
Thank you once again for listening to this podcast. If you've gotten this far, then you're clearly invested in helping our community make this important decision. No matter how you feel about the tax, I encourage you to talk to your friends, neighbors, and county commissioner. Finally, I ask that you take this knowledge with you as you vote on November 5th. As a voter in Mecklenburg County, this decision is in your hands. Please remember to listen to the other episodes in this series on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe for free and you'll get the second season of this podcast featuring more in-depth information about the tax to be released closer to voting time. Don't forget to submit a rating and a review, or just share this podcast with someone else you know who cares about the future of our community. Want your voice to be heard on this subject? Here's how you can share your thoughts about the proposed sales tax. Text or call 704-286-6288 to share your thoughts. That's 704-286-6288. If you call, you'll go straight to voicemail and can leave a message, 30 seconds max. Or you can send an email to asc@artsandscience.org. Your responses may be used in a future episode of this podcast. This podcast was produced by the Arts and Science Council and Gojo Studios. Writing, field recording, editing, and mixing done by Andy Go. Additional research and support provided by Krista Terrell, Bernie Petit, Lillian Parker, and Giovanna Torres. Original music by Harvey Cummings.